lot of spacing there for Natsumi to play with a flat can as well. They are starting to clump around mid. Again, some forward vision set up from Paulson earlier on. Does have some control. It's a little bit early to camp into the 6 mark, but might try to gun for Abed early instead.
Doesn't really seem to be panning out this time. Pauluson's just going to retreat, not really seeing the opening he was looking for against Abed. Problem is, there's not much he can do top lane either. Like, as a Shadow Demon, like, you're just trying to make sure Zil stays alive, but Zil's pretty much had the tower by his T1, or rather by the creep wave by his T1, so he's been relatively safe. 20 seconds for those power runes to initially spawn up, so I suppose Paulson can move around that area, but you will see Zhao doing the exact same thing here on the Elder Titan. See, the power rune's going to be very important when you've got Abed versus Emo on the Leshrac versus Storm matchup. So who does manage to get away with it? It's going to be up. And he gets an arcane root of all things as well. So very lucky this time on the Storm.
Yep. Also has his level 6 up early, so again, he can try to leverage that with the arcane. I was taking a look at Seth. He did go for the 1-2 build, and he did just drop Tim's to 0 mana, forcing off the 1 charge just by kicking those cogs around. It's pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
We love that coming out there. Again, Blacklist having a little bit more presence in this game, have some good wards to set up for a mid fight as well. Abed dropping the obs in a nice position. Does force the side of Bleed to just fully reset. And again, it opens up these side lanes, free farm for Natsumi. A decent enough time for Gabby, somewhat free farm as well for Jackie. So you are trading out safe lane farm for off lane farm here this match. And there's just not as much play for Bleed early on. Already the early commitment from Abed to just rotate, but that is under ward vision, so they're not going to fully commit just yet on the side of Bleed. And for Bleed's part, does feel like they need some more levels up. You do have Arena ready on Zeal though. Could lead to an early pick-off if they find a setup somehow.
I mean, Abed's being chased here by Emo, but Abed can always just zip away, so it's not really an issue for him to be chased like this, though Emo is still continuing the chase, but does eventually think better of it. Both teams once again more than happy to just play the farm game here against each other. And here I was thinking it was going to be some kind of action-packed clowny game we were going to see between these two teams, considering we have a new patch, but it seems as though both teams are ultra serious. As Jackie bottom lane, completely surrounded. They will miss the bushwhack here, so Jackie does have a chance to be able to just battle trance if he needs to. In fact, Zil does TP anyway. Of course, not allowing that Jackie to go down for free. And this is kind of another thing as well. Like, Jackie was left alone for quite a while down that bottom lane. So Say was having a look around to just cogs up Tim's pretty much the whole time, and Jackie is still finding himself top of the CS board here and top of the net worth Mortal Control.
Yeah, it's mainly because Natsumi takes the time to come down bot, although Emo.
They've got Emo locked down here. Emo's going to drop. It's a 4-hero rotation to make that one happen, but they will get it.
And again, they did commit Natsumi going down bot, leaving the top lane, so he needed to get some activity out. Does pan out quite nicely for Blacklist, and they're missing out on some CS, but they are slowing down this Leshrac's game, making it a lot harder for Emo to hit those initial spikes. Allowing Abed, again, total rune control and mid control. Has the haste rune bottled up for himself. Could look for another play elsewhere if something's forced out. And the side of Bleed, again, responses are pretty slow. They're going to need way more to come in. Maybe by the time you have higher levels in your supports, you can feel a little bit better in trying to make these plays happen. They are eyeing Gabby.
Got him locked down. Battery Assault should make it pretty hard for Gabby to skewer out of this one. And here come the cogs once again. Gabby, he'll get a skewer away. Does have help from Tim's, with Gabby still dropping very, very low here to say. Is now Natsumi and Zhao going to show up, trying to go after Jackie. Jackie's popped the battle trance, trying to survive through this one, but they'll lock him down. The troll should have no way out of this, though he's still going. Spear is not going to land from Zeal. Jackie's still alive somehow. They'll drop the arena. They'll buy him even more time. Jackie's still running. Now there's a static remnant chasing him. He's alright. Jackie's made it out.
Yeah, they got him out. Used everything to bail him out, but does survive, and they find Natsumi. They might find more. They will.
Saving Private Jackie. Jackie's still not down. They're going to try again. Abed's having a look around. Thinking about the zip in. You've got Tim's there with the bushwhack. You've got Gabby ready with the RP. And they know there's no battle trance this time, so they'll get him. They will finally punish the troll. Now Abed, though, completely out of mana, could find himself in a bit of danger. as the spear is actually going to push Tims away. Meanwhile, Zeal still trying to fight, but here comes Natsumi. Natsumi going to make it very hard to continue this fight for Bleed, as now Zeal caught out, needs to try to run, but the call down is going to lock him down for a little bit longer. Gabby's out with the RP just in case. So Natsumi able to secure another kill here on the gyrocopter, this time onto the Mars. Well, what a messy bottom lane it has been.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's quite the commitment. This is the clown fiesta you were looking for, Mikey, right there. Full committal for the aggression coming out from Blacklist does pan out. I like that read. You know, they've got Gyrocopter that plays very strong early with a Rocket Barrage and the Afterburner. Might as well make use of it. We've got the Storm, who's got great rune control. They play off the haste really nicely as well. And they just kind of pile on. Dogpile into Bleed while they're not quite ready. Again, support levels aren't quite up yet to 6. You need more items to be up there, especially for Emo. Doesn't have the ults lined up quite yet. There's a lot more patience that has to come in here for the side of Bleed this time around. They're still not able to fully commit for the tower, but they are making it hellish for Jackie to find his Battle Fury timing that he really needs to keep up in terms of farming pace in comparison to Natsumi and his Flak. So that is one thing they're keeping in check very nicely. Also, Sed did go for the 3-2-0, so no Rocket Flare, just looking for all the damage.
I don't blame him at all. Say, I mean, he's going to get caught out here. Really, probably no way out of this for the clockwork, but he is trying. He'd love a couple creeps to die around him so he can hit that level 6 mark, but still has to run the old-fashioned way. A lot of time being bought out, to be fair. Tims will eventually land the bushwhack and does secure the kill. But my goodness, it took them a while to get that done.
It did. Do get the punish. That is some room for Jack to bail out. He will switch gears and farm that lower jungle instead. Again, the side of Bleed. Bleeding out quite a fair bit in the early game. Blacklist looking a lot sharper in the lane phase this time around. Are starting to set up for mid. 12-minute power rune will spawn top. Amp damage rune for Abed. Nice and free for him. No rune control still for Emo in this game, unfortunately. But very fortunate for Blacklist. Again, it's these runes that are feeding into this early activity for Abed. The haste rune down bot, the arcane rune when they play down mid. Now with an amp damage rune, pretty sure they will try to make something happen. They even got the sharpshooter ready on Tims now as well. Level 6 is up on the Hoodwink. They've got all the burst damage they could ask for here to start to find some targets. They do still have that forward ward down bot, although it's not quite in the jungle area, so Jackie's still free to farm. And the same thing goes for Blacklist. It's very free farm for Natsumi up top. No forward vision, no pressure at all onto this gyrocopter. You've got some decent build up in the stacks, not the most, but just enough to keep things going. There's no push pressure from Emo yet. He does have the maxed out edict, but isn't really safe in trying to gun down the mid, so they can't open up the map to make these plays happen. They are waiting out for, again, same timings for Zeal. Blink for the Mars is going to be big. And you do have 6 up on Seth, so he does have the hook shot. He's playing a little bit closer to far, just holding bot by himself, but it is only the 2 heroes anyhow, so not quite ready to fully commit. Gabby's rushing his Ags as well. Horn toss over to Blink, going to be interesting to see. Just a little bit more control to kick in. This kind of map state does favor Blacklist. Again, they farm really efficiently with Gyrocopter, with Storm. Even Gabby farms relatively well, although he doesn't have Empower, he does have good clear with the Shockwave. So you're more than happy to play this. You know that Jackie's farming from behind without the Battle Fury. You've got a lot of room to just take it slow in these next few minutes here.
Mid lane, there's going to be a bit of a group up now. Abed and Tim's going to join Zhao, and of course Gabby. Oh, they'd love to find Emo here, just baiting him in with his 14-minute power rune. Gabby's going to show himself. RP is out. A nice arena from Zeal. They're going to lock them down. Not allowing the skewer play out, but it's not going to matter. Emo is still going to drop, and now Zeal's in trouble. Abed with the chase, out onto the Mars. Should eventually have some control here, as Zeal's just taking too much damage. Gabby, though, going to get hooked. Saving Zeal for now, but it will give up his own life. And they still kind of have vision over Zeal here with the Astral Spirit. Won't matter though, the Mars is going to be okay, but still a 3-0 trade the way of Blacklist.
Yeah, it does work out perfectly for Blacklist. And again, this aggression over the runes, this early emphasis on fights is certainly what we expect from Blacklist, especially, you know, considering game 1 was a lot slower. This is Blacklist in their normal form. Strong laning phase coming out, much more impact from Abed this time around. And for the side of Bleed, again, it's a farm game right now. You still need more time for Jackie. You need a lot more time as well for Zeal to hit that blink. Heck, Emo is the one that's hurting most. Only has the Yules to save. Needs the full Eternal Shroud. Does have room to shove in top at the least, but here comes the defense. Or at least a commitment from Bleed, dragging in Jackie as well to the gate. So they will find an objective on the map to open up. First objective of the map, actually. So that was a little bit more forays into the top jungle. Tried to cut off Natsumi a little bit, but it's really just giving Jackie more space to farm overall. And again, if this boils down to a farm game, Blacklist are more than happy to play that long con here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They absolutely are right now. It's just both sides seem more than happy to just play the farming game at the moment. 2K advantage here for Blacklist rivalry. Natsumi working onto that axe very, very soon, so we'll have that up available for himself.
Dire's middle tower.
Blacklist, they're all hanging around the bottom side of the map. They already got that tier 1 tower though. You can see Bleed smoke up as 3. This is with the Blink Dagger now of Zeal being available, though Zeal is not with his team. It's Say, Polison, and Emo running as 3. Gabby does have his own blink up now, but Say is going to see him in just a second. Hookshot is available, and he actually lands it after the blink. Gabby's still going to be able to skewer away, though, and is just fine, as now Arbet will zip right in. He'll find Say on the clockwork. There's not much to be said about it. Only the clock to go down. Blacklist rivalry, they still have basically 5 heroes around to help out.
Yeah, they've got the backup. And they'll just feed off this clock. They'll go for their own aggression now. They've got that full blink up on Gabby. Again, he can reposition, get the drag back. His RPs have been on point so far. The one RP we saw. Well, the 2 RPs we saw. See if they find that position. Bleed have to be so cautious. They're staying so clumped up.
Polison didn't reveal himself. Arbet does zip in, but Disruption is already there to save. As now Zeal has been caught out, and Zeal is just down. Polison also caught as Emo's trying to rush in and help out. He's on a Natsumi, but he's been locked down by the Earth Splitter. Now in huge trouble. Arbet trying to get away. Emo in the meantime, 1 hit away from dying, does go down. So they RP nothing. Well, Gabby really showed that range creep. And it won't matter anyway. 3 down for the price of nothing. Blacklist rivalry, they'll still be able to get away with a pretty damn great fight.
3-13, Blacklist taking the lead. Again, playing this ultra aggression early on. While the side of Bleed just not ready to really follow through. Like, even on these hooks of Se, doesn't feel like they're able to just gap close as effectively. And maybe now with a blink on Zeal, they could try a little bit more. The arenas have been good, but the follow-through hasn't felt great. I feel like this is all going back to Emo having a slower start than Lesh. Still stuck with just the Yules, no Eternal Shroud yet the front line. Bloodstone, a pipe dream at the moment here for the Lesh as well. So you are lacking a lot of that presence when the initiation does happen here from Bleed. Whereas for Blacklist, you've got a Magnus, you've got a Storm. Like, it's really easy for them to just fully commit, get the damage by themselves as well. And buy all of the space for Natsumi. Full Ags up, going for the BKB. He's going to be very hard to control outside of some really good arenas from Zeal to block off the flak damage. And again, for Bleed, it just feels a little bit more scattered. Blacklist feel a lot more organized and in sync in this game. There's not as much disruptive activity here from Bleed in comparison to Game 1. They just need to get running with a Lesh. Like, Eternal Shroud's one big step. Does feel like he's going to want a little bit more on top to really be in a good point with a Leshrac to follow through from Se and from Zeal jumping in like this.
The game plan is going to be, I mean, top lane, Zeal gets caught out again here on the Mars, so it's going to be another nice easy kill here for the side of Blacklist rivalry, as now Tims can fully afford that Maelstrom up on the Hoodwink. Now mid lane, Olsen currently being watched here by Zhao. You have got Cabby with the skill back play if he wants to commit, but he will not. Just seems like things are getting worse and worse here for Bleed Esports now, as you do have the Eternal Shroud completed on Arbet. And just now the impact just not feeling like it's really there from Bleed Esports. We really haven't seen Emo do much of anything on this Leshrac. Zeal hasn't really done too much either on the Mars, and with that Blacklist rivalry, they're just grouping up mid. Abed's there, Zhao is there, Tim is there. And they're just looking towards that mid-tier 1 tower, which they could think about going for free, but instead they're going to go for a smoke. And they're also going to find another arcane rune here for Ab.
Oh, man. Everything you could ask for. They've got a good flank angle as well. They've got this really good cliff ward that's watching Jackie at the moment behind the tier 1. Just need to find the angle in. Scan does spot them, though.
Say's going to break the smoke. So at least they will just use the clockwork to tank the gank here for Jackie. But it's still pretty dire straits here for the side of Bleed, as now Blacklist Rivalry looking towards that Tormentor. There's a lot of damage being done to themselves in fairness, but it won't matter. Nobody going to be around to try and capitalize, and it's going to be a free shards now the way of Tims. Jumping again on Paulison. Now going to jump the mag at the very least, so Gabby in a spot of danger. Gabby, though, not really dropping his Tims in the meantime, also being chased here by Zeal, but Zeal will be locked down by the stomp of Zhao. So Emo trying to chase for a little bit more on the Leshrac will only really find himself a courier. Tims still being chased by Jackie, but it is a hoodwink. She is pretty challenging to catch. So eventually they should have him. Tims finally goes down to Jackie. I guess you call that a bit of a win here for Bleed.
Yeah, it's still the follow-through issue, right? Like, Zeal gets a pretty decent arena. You've got the jump forward from Paulson with his own blink to set up. It's just the damage isn't there. Emo can't follow through. He's a little bit late in joining his team up top. He has Eternal Shroud. Now it feels like you actually might want a blink on your Lesh just to have follow-through damage. Just to have this positioning tool to jump in with the Mars, play with that arena, the damage output you potentially have in the middle of all of that. He is going to go for the safe play first, Bloodstone. Of course, necessary for the Lesh to sustain up front. But the lead is going for Blacklist. Natsumi still free farming, BKB not too far off. You've got the full Lincolns coming out for Abed soon, which will save him from really big setup on that disruption. And once you can't disrupt the storm, it just feels difficult to actually pin down Abed here at all. Like, you need that setup for the split Urt or for the spear on such a slippery target. So I like this itemization on Abed. Understanding the weak points of Bleed's trap in terms of hold for a storm. And again, Blacklist doing a great job of just working this map. Oh,
Gabby barely missing out of the shockwave. Pretty slow kind of game, 4 to 15, 6k advantage. You've got the BKB now up on Jackie at the very least, so
Radiant's middle tower.
I believe Esports, they might want to try and move as a unit here with this BKB up. The longer you wait, the bigger Natsumi gets. I mean, Natsumi now working towards his own BKB into the Daedalus for the Roshan as well. Why the hell not? There's your BKB out, now the Gyro. But Roshan is going to be a bit of a slower process, but it doesn't really matter too much. This leader not intending on trying to fight this one out. But they will have the vision now with the rocket flare usage, but it won't matter. They're going to just try for the top T2 tower instead. So Genual's already TP'd back to get prepared to defend, as they are going to find Tims here on the hoodwink. Tims trying to run his way out, but he is gone. So you do get the Aegis up, but here comes Gabby. BKB skewer back onto Say, though Say is okay with the police being available. The hook shot off the mark from Say. In comes Seal, though. He's in with the arena. Say's going to survive a little bit longer, as now Januel's the one in trouble. Zhao is gone, so is Say, and it seems though so is Seal. It's now Gabby. He'll get a skewer out onto Emo by himself, but Emo's still alive. Jackie the one to jump in now. Moving on to Abed. They'll take down the Leshrac, though Emo is gone, but Abed looking to drop as well. Does go down onto Natsumi now. Natsumi to drop.
Oh,
Gabby.
God. What's happening?
Gabby's been disrupted. Gabby is down. Natsumi trying to mad fight Jackie. Jackie's going down a boot. He can't really fight without the BKB up. What a mess of an engagement.
Yeah, that's a 4 for 4 going the way of Bleed. 5 if you want to count the Aegis usage of Natsumi. There was a buyback earlier on Tims. That is not that bad for Bleed. It equalizes that fight, negates the Aegis advantage for, say, a high ground push after a tier 2, or let's say for farm route for Blacklist. 2.5 for 2.1k in terms of gold trade. You're in a happy position for Bleed. Very messy way to force that fight. You start off fine, isolating off Tims, and then it just kind of falls apart from there, but the Troll does do a ton of damage, and is actually fairly tanky with that insensitive facet he has with the fervor stacks up in melee form. So he is hard to burst down with a BKB running plus that. The side of Blacklist, though, I think overall you're still in a decent position. You have to be cautious about those kinds of fights overall. As, again, it's swinging back this lead. It's highlighting some shortcomings of your draft. I have to say, Paulson had some really good positioning there. With the disruptions coming in towards the end, great usage, just standing in the back, utilizing his blink to the fullest extent, is working onto the Ags as well. With a Philosopher's Stone, not going to take too long to have those 2 charges up in the Demonic Purge. And then into the Shard with a Cleanse, it's going to be a little bit harder to pin down these single targets for any much longer. I think the big thing Bleed still needs, and this has been something I've been going back to for a while, but it really just feels like he needs so much more in emo. Again, he is going for that full Bloodstone, could probably use a BKB on top. The ult alone doesn't feel enough to save. Once you kind of line that up with the arena usage and with how much Jack you can do in the middle of these fights, you still have a lot of plays. Still, Blacklist, no, they've got the advantage. They're shoving in bot. They've got a good board to cover their rear here as well. So they can just look for a tier 2 to equalize the map a little bit more. Bleed not interested in going for the defense, but Bleed does have a lot of scaling. Again, Ags on the supports. We talked about Paulson getting his Ags. Once Seh has his Ags, with the overclocking up, it is going to feel a little bit more oppressive, to say the least.
I mean, absolutely. You see, Jackie, he's trying to go for this Blink Dagger on the Troll Warlord now, so just wondering exactly who it is he wants to jump first. I think it might just be Arbit on the Storm, and you just kind of hope for the Ensnares to come out. You know, any supports to die with the Blink in would also be really damn good for the side of Bleed. Like, Zhao's a huge menace in the back lines as well with that Elder Titan, and of course he does have that deconstruction facet, so the longer he's alive with the Astral Spirit out, the more annoying he's going to be towards your side. Surprisingly, Blacklist is still more than happy to just sit back and relax. It doesn't really seem like they're too interested in trying to force a fight, besides when perhaps you have the Satanic up on Natsumi. And Natsumi will have that up in about 50.
I think it's fair for Blacklist to still feel confident in the slower game. Again, you've got Blink RP, you've got the AoE Vortex down the line for Abed. He's going for the side of Vice, which isn't too far off now as well. So you have a lot of control pieces yet, and a lot of control that still goes through debuff immunity as well. So you can kind of just play it a little bit slower. They will find us tier 2 eventually. No contest coming up from Bleed, and instantly the smoke from Blacklist. Could get a nice river crossing. Maybe get a good snipe onto the supports. Heck, even Zeal could be in the firing line. Tim's already scouting forward. Does reveal that smoke though.
This will be a big team fight to come. Blacklist Rivalry looking for an opening. Zeal going to find a spear out onto Tim's first. Tim's being caught immediately. Is now the double stun coming in from Emo. Oh. And the hook shot. There was still RP from Gabby trying to save it. It was only on Say. Meanwhile, Jackie's got the BKB going with the Battle Trance pop. We'll move right onto that gyrocopter.
Oh, Natsumi.
Oh, and Natsumi is down. A perfect start from Zeal. Jackie will get tipped in the middle of all that. And that is a real problem here for the side of Blacklist Rivalry. Oh boy.
That is a concern. This blink pickup from Jackie allowing him to beat a fall with true damage is huge. And that's been one issue holding Bleed back from these arenas of Zeal. The damage just doesn't feel great. This time around, you're in a good position for Emo to get the follow-up stun from Sez. Well, you force the RP onto 1 on top of all of that. The Gabby's forced to try to bail out Natsumi in that really awkward spot. And up against a troll, you lose a fight like that, your high ground gets ripped to shred. They do respect the lower cooldown respawns at this point in the game. We'll take the tier 3 and get back. But you are seeing the holds come out. They play really confident in Blacklist getting the smoke follow through, but Bleed were set up for the smoke themselves because, again, Tim's broke the smoke in lane. He's trying to clear out the creep wave, but just revealed the smoke. Bleed instantly reposition and get the better end of the trade there.
In fairness, I think the RP from Gabby, I'm not sure exactly how he missed Jackie, but it doesn't really feel like he caught the Troll Warlord in the middle of all that. The RP, I mean, my eyes could be playing tricks on me, but it really did feel like he only touched the clockwork of that RP. So,
he did.
Not the
I think he RP'd right in the hook shot. So
right.
Jackie wasn't quite there. And again, he had the blink. He just blinked into the fight afterwards. It's just a little bit difficult for Gabby. Like, again, it's a very awkward situation. I think he was trying, hoping that it would be in range of the Leshrac. Like, Emo would be caught in the RP. It's a little bit too far. So, fight goes a little bit sideways. They will still secure rune control. And again, you've got the side of Vice now for Abed. So, some great instant jump action now from the Storm. The lead has nullified to less than 1k for Blacklist. They will go out with a smoke 11 to 20. Win probability has leaned towards Bleed now as well. Off the back of that fight, it was slightly in Blacklist's favor, but slowly coming back onto Bleed. I don't think it's completely unfair to Blacklist, though. Again, it does feel like they scale up still really strongly with this Magnus and with the Gyrocopter. Just need to play their cards right. Maybe to get this flank ankle onto Jackie.
They're going to try again. Jackie's a great target if you can burst him down quick enough. Jump is there. They've got the Hex out. They should have him. Jackie does not have the chance to be able to get any of his spells off. A very nice pick off here for Blacklist Rivalry. And that is off the back of the surprise reveal here from Arbet with the Hex up.
Just a little bit too forward. They were trying to use Jackie as bait. Doesn't really have a way to play up against all the chain stuns with that Hex opener. So it's a little bit tougher for Bleed. And that does allow a little bit of respite for Blacklist. Get to relax a little bit more. Get that build up into the Daedalus now for Natsumi, into the Butterfly as well. Gonna force something like an MKB for Jackie, which he doesn't have lined up. He doesn't quite have enough room to freely farm into these kinds of timings. Tier 2 for Blacklist being taken by on mid. No contest coming out from Bleed. Yorson to reach critical mass though. Again, Emo, he's got the full Bloodstone. He's going for the BKB. Their high ground hold is pretty good with the arena. Just have to watch out for the RPs here from Gabby.
Natsumi's going to frontline for his side again. There's your Ags up on Gabby now, so Horn Toss is now officially available for the mag. So everyone's going to be able to get away just fine here on the side of Blacklist. There'll be no real chase to come. Now Arbet's going to find himself another regen rune here on the Storm, so happy days for him, as we are going to see a 4-man smoke from Blacklist Rivalry, but it could be very unfortunate timing for them, as Arbet basically has unlimited mana. 30 seconds or so. Rocket Flare will give some vision over. Blacklist Rivalry still hanging around the Twin Gates. Roshan still 1 minute and 30 seconds away. This Blade still wrapping around. They'll go above that bottom lane. They'll head down towards the Lotus Pool. Rocket Flare again giving vision over the Twin Gates. They'll see Natsumi and Arbet. No jump as of yet. They'll still see the Gyrocopter. Natsumi does have the BKB ready, but no, they'll land the spear! Oh, Natsumi! He might go down too fast, and he does! Natsumi does not react quick enough with the BKB, and now Emo finds a double stun! Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
How can you not react quick enough? I mean, the rocket flares were there, you saw them coming in. I think he had about half a second to press the BKB and it just never came out.
Yeah, he definitely had a window. Big punishment out from Bleed. It's going to lead into a little bit of shove. Roshan in 40 seconds as well. It's still going to be a south side spawn. They're going to be able to try to get that after a tier 2 clear here, after the Tormentor. We get a lot off the back of that. And it's really just down to Zeal getting that big arena initiation they needed. Oh my god. Blacklist. After, again, a considerable lead, a good bounce back in after dropping a couple of these fights, they're in a really bad position now. Again, Roshan open for Bleed. Really quick take with a Troll. Satanic up for Jackie. Another form of Self-Dispel. A lot more sustain for the Troll to take these prolonged fights. And Roshan's going to go their way. No issues at all. Are already setting up. There is some backline vision here for Blacklist to play off of, but not quite the frontline Roche vision we want. Again, it's not going to take too much time at all for Jack to get this done for his team. Blacklist, at the least, it does end up in a high ground situation. Still have that threat of RP with a Horn Toss and Skewer back. They've got still a lot to play with. The full Daedalus for Natsumi's not quite there. He has a recipe, but it's 800 gold away from the Silver Edge. They will try to take this Roche fight, though, but they are playing under their vision, so they could try to get this jump.
Oh, they could try. Aegis is up here for Jackie.
Oh,
They'll
Tim's.
move in, Gleipnir is out. They find Say on the clockwork, but Say's got the jetpack going, so he'll take no damage from that sharpshooter. As now Blacklist, I think, I mean, this is looking rather desperate now. Zeal, he missed the arena. Natsumi does not get caught in the arena.
Radiant's top tower is
So
under
now,
attack.
Bleed Esports are the ones that need to leave the area. Things are looking a bit desperate for them. Zeal's going to pop his BKB, not missing anything. Meanwhile, they have found themselves a troll warlord. Jackie, he's still okay to run his way out of the Earth Splitter, will not really land, but they do find safe. So you still get the clockwork in the air.
I'd say these small kills for Blacklist to find is actually really impactful as long as it's Abed. He's only died one time this game, so he has 31 stacks of Galvanized, like, from his innate.
Yeah.
He has a free 9.6 mana regen. It's absolutely ridiculous how much Abed has. 32.3 mana regen. It's kind of nutty. Doesn't even need a regen rune to really feel insane. But does have an arcane rune for himself once again.
Of course.
He's a happy camper.
I do like this whole galvanized thing. You know, they basically gave Storm his own inbuilt bloodstone, almost.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of nice.
And it is. As long as you don't
takes-
die.
Yeah.
Once you die, it's just going to drop down to 0.1 per permanent that you get, which is like, what, 7 kills, 0.7 mana, which is... That's
Yeah,
alright.
That's basically how old bloodstone worked. You know, you just never wanted to die
Yeah.
because of the charges.
Yeah. He's got old Bloodstone.
Yeah. It's
I
nice.
wish you could have old Bloodstone. I mean, new Bloodstone's kind of cool, but I miss old Bloodstone in the Suicide. You know, that's pretty funny. And then at some point didn't the Suicide proc actually allow you to heal your allies as well in the AOE?
Yeah, it did.
That was pretty funny.
It was good. It's actually a pretty busted heal too if you wanted to use it. So,
Take me back.
Bleed.
Let Pudge self-deny again. That's my sore point after all these years. I just want to play Soul Ring Pudge, please. Let us do that, pal.
oh, you can still do it, John. It's
Yeah,
still
but you
possible.
don't die anymore. You know, when you're
No,
at
you
1 HP or 100 HP, you Soul Ring Rot and you don't get anything on the enemy team. You can't do that anymore. It's sad.
Have you considered just being good at Pudge, John?
What do you mean? Soul Ring Rot, big plays, great stuff.
Oh, Tim's. It's gonna be spotted.
Ooh.
Says off the mark with the hook. Emo. Oh,
Emo,
can he
come
get
on.
vision? Oh, he's
Oh.
gonna get him. He's got the vision just in the nick of time. No splitter dodge here for Tim's. Eventually, Emo will be able to secure a very nice kill for himself here on the left rack. Happy days. Now 3k advantage the way of Bleed Esports. So it's still a very slow game, and it feels like it's still anyone's game. But Bleed are somewhat 60% win probability their way at the moment, apparently.
Yep. And again, that swung off that big fight they took earlier on there from Bleed, where Blacklist just didn't quite get the angles they'd want on the mid. The RP didn't quite work out. Do have a disconnect without the disconnect coming in yet. So I guess Jackie is a little bit of an oracle. We do have the go-ahead now as well. Interesting. We do have the
Nobody
sec
disconnected.
call for Natsumi. Fool. That's what I'd like to see, Mike. The good old Southeast Asian DC pause when no one's disconnected.
It is one of those things. And it's what was it? The last tournament we were casting, I think in Dream League, just the admin was asking why they paused, and just nobody answers the question.
Yeah, no, we had a 40-minute pause there.
Poor old Wishy. Shout out to Wishy
Yeah.
if he's watching.
We had 23 Savage ask some spicy questions
Yes.
in chat.
Savage was the one guy I think that really enjoyed the whole drama between
Oh,
Gabby
yeah.
and
Oh yeah,
Armin.
no, yeah, for sure, 100%, no, definitely.
I'm pretty sure like Aurora's management would have had to make sure he didn't tweet anything stupid after that happened. It's like, Savage, don't you log online
I mean-
to tweet anything stupid, sir.
I mean, you know, the guy gets kicked from T1. Wasn't it Gabby who also replaced him at that point? And then
I'm pretty-
it gets reversed in Talon, right? Gabby used to pause one, then they get replaced with 23.
But is that where
It's
the
a weird
drama
back
started?
and forth relationship. I think so. I think so, right? Like it was Savage for Gabby. T1.
Because
if I recall
they
right.
legitimately don't like each other, as far as I'm aware.
I don't think so, no. Yeah. To be fair, I feel like that statement
Oh,
applies to
no.
a lot.
Natsumi's got a mouse issue now. This applies to what, Jonathan?
Cat.
Very good, Seal.
Look,
Thank you for
that specifically applies to Gavi, to be fair.
Oh, I see.
He's a character. to put it nicely.
Yeah.
He's definitely a character. He is a character. You sit with the guy in Discord trying to cast a game with Armel and John Uel. He has some fun things to say every time, for sure.
I mean, I just sometimes I think it was probably a good thing I wasn't there to cast with you boys. I tell you. So,
Would have been interesting.
I don't know if I would have had the patience for Gabby's antics. You know,
would have been interesting. No, we got some deep talking there. Some deep interviews with Armel. Yeah, we went deep. Asked him about how he feels about, you know, Dota 2 now, Dota 2 before. Deep stuff. Look at the Roche banner. Invulnerable creeps. How do you stop the push? You can't.
Oh my goodness.
You can't.
It's too much. It is too damn much, these creeps. And they're going to try
Legitimately, they can't. They can't.
The top racks is gone. They have got a Horn Toss onto Emo, but there was no skewer. Gabby gonna have to run his way out. Bleed will happily just leave with the top racks being taken, and Blacklist rivalry, they get really nothing.
Don't find too much. At the least, the banner's gone, so you're not gonna have that for the secondary Raxus. When I saw that change, I was like, why? Why in God's name would you allow this? It's insane. Imagine if you stacked up the Roche banners like in some other games. You drop all of them in each lane in a good spot, and you just have this crazy push. You have what? Yeah.
The next upgrade to the banner is going to be Wraith Pack. They're literally just going to change it to Wraith Pack. I can feel it right now.
Don't say that. Don't.
They're
Please.
literally going to change it to Wraith Pack.
No, please. No. I don't want Wraith Pack, Mom. I don't want to eat my Wraith Pack. I'm tired. I don't want that again. Please. Valve, don't listen to Mike. Please don't listen to him. Please, for the love of God. Mute the stream right now.
While we're complaining about stupid things, they brought the Necromonicons back to the...
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. I actually
stupid.
keep laughing when I see it. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. Who decided that was a good change?
Like, you don't even need to use Fiend's Gate to do anything. Just use it in the push. Free Necronomicons out. What a Roche! Put your Roche banner on the Fiend's Gate. There you go. That's a push.
They're so weak. They're so weak, though.
Who cares? They're backmark. Aren't you happy? Aren't you an Underlord player now?
No,
look at you all whinging. Oh, Necronomicons is me. Tims?
Jump in, Tims. Has been caught. Tims is gone. Gabby.
Oh.
Try for the skewer play. Emo's got him, though. BKB was popped in time. Gabby will pop his own BKB, trying to move back onto the troll. They'll get the Hex out. Jackie, he's going to find Natsumi, but there's no lockdown. Here we go again. Zeal, he's going to drop another arena. Catching out Gabby with the spear. A complete cloud fiesta here in this team fight as Gabby finally will go down. Back on a Natsumi, they'll go Natsumi. Dropping quite low himself, will be forced to BKB and pop the Satanic. Turning right back on Arbed, but here comes Say with the hook shot onto Natsumi, just completely surrounded. They'll jump it again. Jackie's onto the gyrocopter. They'll get the Hex out, but it won't matter. Jackie's got him. Natsumi is down. Bleed. Trying to find a little bit more. They will lose Say on the Shadow Demon, but that's going to be about it. And I say on the Clockwork, not the Shadow Demon. The Shadow Demon is just fine. Jackie's onto the tier 3 mid tower.
That's so unfortunate for Natsumi. BKB faded right as he was standing in the middle trying to run out. Cog, so he gets pick seconds, not the longest. And again, the high ground siege that comes out does not take too long. Trying to stall as best as they can on Blacklist. They do at least have this long range reach with John Uel dropping some armor in the process, but it's not fully enough.
Oh, I bet he gets caught by a stun. Still going to move on to Emo. Does have the help of Natsumi behind him, but here comes Zeal once again with the spear out, catching the storm, and no stun to come out. Arbed's still fine. Emo's still alive, healing up with the Bloodstone. We'll move back in onto Natsumi. He's got the splitter that's going as well. Natsumi!
Oh, he back, no.
Natsumi! It's a nice RP, but Natsumi's down. He bought back for that. Arbed's got a bird. Oh boy. GG is called. Blacklist rivalry have lost 0-2 to Bleed Esports.
And that is A painful way to go for Blacklist to start off the Riyadh Masters at Esports World Cup. Qualifiers dropping in to the lower bracket instantly. A strong performance coming out from Bleed. Like, again, we had a lot of question marks about this team coming in. Losing DJ, losing Mikoto. They had Emo stand in for one of her qualifiers already, so they were already kind of gelling with him. It does feel like Bleed has come out on top with how they're playing as a team, with how they're executing these drafts, with how they read the game. Like, game 1 with the infinite scaling, and then game 2 with just solid plays coming out overall. Just very good fundamental Dota and spell usage and initiation coming out from Bleed in this one. For Blacklist, I don't know what to say. Like, we were joking around about some of the team chemistry in the back. It doesn't feel like that was an issue at all, to be fair, right? Like, the connection between Abed and Gabby were still strong. It just feels like it's still a little bit lost, especially in that mid-game you mentioned earlier on there.
Yeah, that was a pretty rough affair here for Blacklist Rivalry. The laning stage is going fine, but as soon as the laning stage ends, they just seem to fall apart here as a unit. And I want to kind of comment on the drafting. I feel like the drafting's been maybe a little bit on the weaker end of things. It feels like they're kind of going back to the previous patches meta. You know, the double gyrocopter pick just didn't really seem like it was doing that much. The offlane Mars of Gabby was fine. The offlane Magnus pick was, I think it was fine, but the drafts were nothing spectacular, were they, Jonathan? I mean, it was just...
No.
I was really expecting to wake up and it cast some very exciting, crazy broken Dota. And that's not what I feel like I just did.
No, I mean, again, it was a strong performance from Bleed. I think game 1 was a little bit more clowny with, like, the infinite scaling. Again, game 2 was just very... almost standard fundamental Dota. We didn't see the facets really play too big of a part. We didn't see the crazy interactions. Unfortunately, again, for Blacklist, they're going to have to trudge their way through the lower bracket. And for Bleed, they got that adventure in the upper bracket going for themselves with this renewed roster. So props to them for starting off strong here.
Absolutely.